I'm going to bring up a couple more people now to share a few more words about Everyone Can. So please welcome to the microphone, Jide Okusanya. Please welcome Jide.
Good evening. Okay, let's do this again. Good evening.
Good evening.
And thank you all for, thank you all for coming. It's great to see so many familiar faces after so many years. So great to see you all here this evening. And I suppose it's a great thing that Elder Deepo has brought everyone together in this way. So good to see you all. Now, I wanted to say a few things about the book. I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to say my put it out there and let you be the judge. The honest truth is that the brutal truth is that I find it incredibly hard to get excited about a personal finance book. Okay? And the reason for that is that I make my living in financial services. You know, I do this thing every blessed day, you know. And so it's very hard for me. And if you do that, I suppose you come across a lot of ideas that have been around for forever. And you sort of think, well, I've had that one before, you know, and there is really nothing new about it. And the very few new ideas that you come across, for whatever reason, they just don't stand up to scrutiny. And that was my challenge picking up this book. The other thing is that I am very dubious about the idea of personal finance education in itself. We all know, for instance, that sugar and fatty foods aren't necessarily good for us. That doesn't stop us, though, from stuffing ourselves with fizzy drinks and the same food that we shouldn't be eating. And so for me, it's not just the knowledge. It's the action, it's what you do as a result. But picking up this book, what strikes me is that Elder Deepo has done an excellent job in actually getting you interested, or getting me interested. The first 5 chapters of the book were dedicated into actually getting into you as the reader, trying to elicit that desire in us all, not just to better ourselves, but also to better our children and the future generation. And I think that's what did it for me, in the sense that this isn't just a book about financial strategies and the things that you should be doing and not be doing, in a sense. The first 5 chapters of the book was essentially about what is it that you as a person is how to achieve in life. And I think that's a great question. If you don't believe, chapter 2 of the book, towards the end of chapter 2, there were 3 very powerful questions. They're called the Kinder questions, about, well, if you had all the money in the world, what is it? What would you do? And if you just take a minute and dream and think, well, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do with my life? I thought that's very powerful. The other question was about, well, if you went to see your doctor and he said to you, you've only got so many days to live, what would you want to do in the 5-year period or in the 1-year period with your life? And that's about urgency. And the third question is, you've gone to see the doctor and it's told you actually you've only got, a few days to live. What would you regret? What would you feel sorry that you haven't accomplished? So the great thing about this book, the great work that Elder was done, is essentially getting us all interested in why we should take this very seriously. The other thing I really liked about the book and I enjoyed about the book is that in financial services we do a very terrible job about getting some of the more complicated ideas across to people. But what I found really interesting about this book was there were lots of stories and cartoons. I love the cartoons to get you interested. And to make fun of what is really a very, very important issue. I'll read a few of those cartoons out to you and I'll end my review there. The first one is in chapter 8. Well, there are lots. I think there are probably as many cartoons as there are chapters in the book. But the one I picked out is in chapter 8. And that is basically, the great thing about cartoon is it's essentially a picture, but you're allowed to fill up the gap. You're allowed to fill in the gaps yourselves and imagine what it is that was going on. So basically, this guy was trying to claim on his insurance, and apparently the insurance agent who he was talking to said to him, after reviewing the details of your accident, the company has denied your insurance claims because stupidity is a pre-existing condition. I thought that is powerful. That's really funny. The other one, and I love this. This is fantastic. The other one is in chapter 13, and it says basically this guy's. I imagine he's sitting down talking to his financial advisor, and I suppose his financial advisor asked him, well, what's your plan? What's your retirement plan? And the guy says, I do have a diversified retirement plan, 30% hope, 30% wishes, and 40% prayers. It's a great book. I think everyone needs to read this. So I will encourage you not just to obviously buy a copy, but buy for other people as well. I think the best thing you can do for anyone really is, as they say, not just teach them how, not just give them a fish, but teach them how to fish. And this book does that in a great way. So well done to you for writing the book. And Story, well done for persevering. Tommy and Toby, well done for for your input in the whole experience. So without much ado, I'm going to get up the stage and say thank you very much for writing the book and highly recommend it.